Hello, my old viewers, Turbo Concept here, and today we're going to be jumping into Roblox Speedbowl. Let's get right into it and let's teleport right into this track. So it's time to go. Let's get into the beginners one, and I hope this is not pretty well. So we're here at the Speedbowl, so the lobby is right over there, so I cannot get closer to me and look at the speed trap, and the speedometer was I'm going to be walking through to 8 miles per hour. If I'm going to be jumping right here, it jumps to 24, and it will might just jump into 19 to 24 miles an hour. So I just jump up to 19 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour, and I just fall back down to step on it until 24 miles an hour. So if we're gonna be driving with these cars, and I make sure we're gonna be starting with those roadsters and instead of these dragsters and kind of stuff like that. And by the way, we're gonna be recommend to drive this cars, and let's start with the black and white. So I'm not choosing the red one, so let's give it up for these black and white cars. So if you drive with these things, and if you actually want to turn, and actually easy to do anyways, but sometimes this must be the beginner's course, and there's someone's at the front end, and if you drive on these roads you cannot actually go into spin out, or even though that's not able to do that. And what is happening right now, and I really wanted to try and drive all the way down right here, so it must be the dragster. So driving 187, and I mean it's driving like an 87 miles per hour, just like I am speeding in the Rensselaer County, and I mean it was Berkeley County as well. So this must be the Speedbowl, and I just always cut the corner every time. It must be the beginner speedway, and looks like it is about time to return this, because this car looks like a dragster and you cannot even drive. And if you drive with these cars, and it's really hard to handle, and it's looks like it was impossible to handle. And by the way, I have to return this car until I reset my character if I fail to return this car. And also there is one big problem. The car is doing like a front wheel drive, and it was an all-wheel drive car, and exactly as well, and I cannot able to turn around the car, and this is a little bit impossible to turn. And I guess I really gonna be resetting my character until I'm back into the garage as well. Moving on to the Nascar 80s, and looks like we're pretty much well, and looks like how it turns very nicely, and it looks like, and it's not very awful to me, and looks like it's kind of more hard to turn, and it cannot be. Well, it's steering, everything is all-wheel drive, and everything looks kind of pretty impressive. And looks like this car always drives like this, and it cannot be, and it's subject for a logo change. And looks like I'm doing pretty well for just another lap, and we just made an awful mistake, and I just spin out, and it is about time to return back this car into garage. And I think this is more harder than I thought, and these tires are way more lighter, and it doesn't get closer to these things. And even I just going to be moving into the car at the moment, so let me just continue with this thing. And unfortunately I doing some burnouts, and we just kind of do some things like this, and I just need to still focus with this car, and we need to still focus in the track limits as well. So I'm going to be continue with these cars, and we're not doing so much laps to do so. Let's go with the laps and farm much, and I'm not able to complete. So if I'm not going to complete with these things when I was speeding in under 80 miles an hour, I just barely spin out in the outside of the corner, so which means I totally failed for so much. And we just come for a change for this time. Since I left here in the garage, let's do with the car of tomorrow, and looks like it's the 2010s version. So if you drive with this car and you realize it will get much more stuck than I ever think, and you think this is possibly very impossible to handle like this, and it's very impossible to steer, and looks like this car is still moving except for steering, exactly as the all-wheel drive vehicle, and I cannot able to just steer right in front of it, and looks like it was absolutely 2020, but 2 years later until 2022, and looks like I cannot able to drive sideways, and looks like we're going to be putting back, and let's move on to the sprint cars as well. So I'm not going to be driving with these car of tomorrows except for the 80s, and I mean I cannot really able to drive some dragsters, and looks like we're going for the white one or just able the green one, so I'm going for this one. So looks like this is gonna be easy to drive some roadsters or even like just sprint cars, and it is about time for some perfect laps. And I ran over the car, and I'm very much, and it looks like I'm driven over 100 miles an hour, and looks like over laps and laps later, and we're just going to be completing a lot of laps, and once and for all I'm just using for a green vehicle, and looks like it's pretty easy. So you have to use some sprint cars, and you can drift around the track for, and I just really going back into the pits, so everything just doing well for just now. Well, we just have 5 laps remaining, so I need to get closer to my microphone, and looks like I'm still racing with this old game, so even I'm drifting with these, and I'm just doing a little power slide in a sprint car as well, so 4 more to go, and looks like I'm pretty not so stressful as well, so I'm not going to travel too fast. Instead, I'm going off track, so 3 more laps to go, and I'm not doing anything that I'm going to be else, so not drifting like that. This is power slide, and not whatever that I can do so. And I'm not going to spin out the track and just making ourselves a penalty to cut the corner. And in order to make the race to cut the track limits, and because of ignoring the track limits will be resulting for lots of seconds of penalty and white more flag, and we got 1 more lap to go, and I just made ourselves a penalty. So by the way, and not so much, and the checkered flag is up, and we just currently finished this thing, so I need to head back into the pits. So I got 7 seconds of penalty, so this car handles great handling as well, so this old game was pretty much good, so I can use the sprint cars all the time and anywhere that I'm going to be doing. If you enjoy for this video, so please make sure to go to that speedway. I'm returning back to the lobby, I guess, and this must be returning to the racing hub, so I just officially returned to the Paul2448's racing club, and it must be the racing collection as well. So if you like for today's video, so please sure this game is linked in description below, so you can go to that speedway. Must be the Roblox Speedbowl. So up next, we're gonna do something like else, and the next thing that I do is going for another race. So it must be going for a Roblox Metro Speedway. So if you enjoy for this game, so I have to share that I'm what it is. So thank you for watching and for all your support, which will be Concept will be signing off, and I'm going to be talk to you all later.